I am live. I'm reading out of Joan Grant's book about her and with her, from her, Speaking from the Heart, Ethics, Reincarnation, and what it means to be human. She was a writer and author of her own far memories, her incarnations. She wrote Winged Pharaoh, Life as Corolla, 7 books she wrote about her previous lives. And yesterday I read chapter 8, The Gold Key, but I didn't finish it. So I shall finish it today. Today is the 28th of February 2024. Gold Key on Ninky Mullins and the freeing of the persona who was Lucia. That was Life as Corolla, where she was Lucia. Look back and be no longer afraid, for you too shall hear the singing people. There's no longer squalor, for the courtyards are clean. There is no longer dark journeying, for the inn is lighted. There are no longer strangers, for you are in company. There is no longer hearsay, for you have seen me. There's no longer pain, for the scabs are healed without scars. There's no longer a dead child on the midden of the village inn, for your children live with you. There are no longer whispers in the courtyards, for you have brought kindliness instead of fear. There is no longer age, for you are reborn in the youth of your generation. There's no longer the pitiful death, for you are alive and know it. There's no longer the black robe of the blind worshipper, for you are in company. You are no longer shut out, for the gate is unbarred. You are no longer outcast, for you are amongst friends. You are no longer afraid of fire, for you see it as the warmth of the kindling and not as the devouring flames that burn the heretic. You are no longer afraid of the voice beyond hearing, for it is a voice very kindly and familiar. You are no longer pitiful of the dwarf, you see him as a shining one. You are no longer frightened of the lute player, for you see her as a woman with whom you are again in company. You are no longer guilty, for you are one with your kindliness. You are no longer ashamed, for you are one with your growth. You are no longer bitter, for you are one with your beginning. You are no longer hatred, for the direction is changed. For you are one with the past, and seeing it, you no longer fear it. Having come to the recognition of the harvest, you eat, and it is not bitter bread. Think of the singing at the inns. In them were kindly people, though poor they were, rich in charity. The road was not long, for on it were many, many inns. The disease was not long, for in it you learned kindliness, and death was not long, for in it you found heaven at the hand of a friend. And age was not long, for now you know it is to be unimportant. And the fading of beauty was not long, for you know that beauty endures for eternity. And loneliness was not long, for it brought you into company, and love is forever. I will be the torch in your hand, and you shall see on your forehead, and in your eyes, on your breasts, and on your navel, and on the dividing of your loins, and on your feet, that there is no stain of Lucia. You shall go forward, no longer with her memory as a brand upon you, but as another torch among many. And you shall take with you not her loneliness, nor her grief, nor her regrets, nor her bitterness, nor her disillusion, nor her pain, but you shall take with you her kindliness, for she was kind, her courage, for she was brave, and it was not easy in the inns of that time not to be afraid of men. And you shall take with you her generosity, for she was generous, even if she had very little, she threw it to a friend without a thought, and because she did not guard her small possessions against the morrow, you you shall take with you her kindliness, for she was kind, her courage, for she was brave, and it was not easy in the inns for that time not to be afraid of men. And you shall take with you her generosity, for she was generous. Even if she had very little, she threw it to a friend without a thought, and because she did not guard her small possession against the morrow, you shall inherit them, and the bonds which bound her shall be loosed, and you shall remember the kindliness. Gold key on Ronald Fraser. Joan knew there was a freeing to be done in the name of Buddha. Look back, Apendinias, to the time when you built Angkor Wat. Look into the moat among the lotus, cross over the bridge, but not the bridge of the Hamadryad of the 7 heads. Look into the tank of water, but now see therein the sky wherein I dwell. Look back at the throne of 500 rubies and see thereon not the king in disillusion, who have built all knew that in the 1,000 shrines he had made not even one shall room in my city. Look back at the king whose name was your own, and see him as the man who carried the begging bowl of an outcast, crossing the bridge of the Hamadryad of the 7 heads, while the people of the city he had built put ashes on their head and wailed that he had been taken from them into the 7th heaven. You paused to look down at the lotus, and in the water saw the reflection of the face of the man who was not in his sarcophagus, which was empty, because you went forth to seek that which you could not find in the city you had built. Remember the forest where you lived alone, hoping that I would come to you. Know that you made of the trees another barrier between you and me, even as you had made barriers of 10,000 paces of carved stone. Look back and see why you thought that life upon earth was a barrier between you and me. Look back and know that on earth and away from earth I am with you, for the inward and the outward breath are both parts of the life. See that to deny my earth is to deny also my heaven. See that to see riches as a barrier between your heart and the roof of the world is as much a triviality as to hope to find me by relinquishing one part of my kingdom and hoping to find me in a lesser part thereof. You hope to find me by building temples to me. You hope to find me by relinquishing the world for me. You sought me on the lips of the wise. You sought me in the incantation of priests. You sought me in the quietness of mountains and in the odorous murmur of the deep forests. You searched for me to the east and to the west. Yea, also did you search for me to the north and the far south. You were as a man who holds the lotus in his hand and throws it away, because he sets forth the search for the jewel in my forehead, having never learned that the jewel in the lotus is the dew of my heaven, of which a man may drink of me and be reborn of my kindred. You have searched, so long have you searched for a talisman which would bring you to me. Even searched far beyond the mountains and in the earth and beyond the seas. Had you forgotten that it is in your own heart that my name is written, that only on the forehead may a man find the lotus in which the jewel is set? Had you forgotten that man may see me from the back of an elephant whose tusks are jeweled with emeralds, or naked in the shade of a banyan tree, or in the arms of a woman, for these 3 are one room of my house, if the key that unlocks them bears my seal? For if a man loves an elephant or a tree or a woman or the dust under his feet, or the wood from which is made his sceptre or his pilgrim staff, then does he love me also. For I, Buddha, Lord of the Lotus, Son of the Noonday, Flame of the sacred mountain, the 1,000 colors of the diamond, am seen in the love that a man giveth forth to all things that are created of my substance, or are created of my brothers, or of my children, and of my children's children, of the 100,000 generation. Seek in me that which you love, and you shall find me. Seek me only in that which you admire, that which you venerate, that which you respect. It's not long. I'm determined to finish it. Seek in me that which you love, and you shall find me. Seek me only in that which you admire, that which you venerate, that which you respect, that before which you are humble, that which brings you pride, that which makes men honor you. Then, though I speak to you in a loud voice, you will say only, the sacred mountain is angry and the sky is full of thunder. And if I weep in pity for your desolation, you will say only, the river is swollen after the spring rains. And if I gather your cold heart between my hands, you will say only, the heat of the sun is so intense that the land will be parched in famine. But if you look into your own heart, you will see me, the Lord Buddha, reflected in all that you have loved today, yesterday, and tomorrow. You will see my face also in their eyes, and I will smile at you from the crowd and from the mountains and from the faces of strangers on the road, and from the elephants of the highways, even in the jackals of the plains you shall see me. And in the grass, even the dust under your feet shall be friendly, for we shall pass thereon in company. You shall see me henceforth not as a statue greater than any man before had built, approached by the bridge of the seven-headed Hamadryat, nor as you hoped to find me when your body starved under the banyan and you were alone. But you shall find me in ordinary ways, in your going forth, in your returning, in your waking and in your sleeping, and in both I shall be with you, for you again are with me after many days. The banyan of your eternity has put down many roots. From them has grown a new tree, under which we shall sit together in company with our friends. And you shall see the past and know it, and knowing it shall no longer fear the future. And in seeing the lotus you shall drink thereof, and know that the diamond is within the petals, and is held in your hand, and is not beyond the mountains, but is close, and has been for a long time, and it shall be with you until the banyan tree of eternity shall wither at the roots. This was chapter 8. Chapter 9 is Crossing the River.